than just their block. So that view on the porch is important, but a larger vision. So we went to the park, flyer at a 10 street area. Over 50 people showed up. I had my I had my clipboard, my notebook, my pen. I facilitated the meeting along with a Crime Watch coordinator by the name of Barb Spahn. She's great. We both co-facilitated the meeting. I'm taking minutes the whole time as I'm facilitating. And then at the end of the meeting, we kept it an hour and a half. That's the best period for a meeting.
People get itchy after
that. They get antsy. But I said to you, before you leave, I need at least 5 people to stay here for another half hour. Because this, again, it's not passive. We don't just come here, talk, and leave and expect, somebody's going to wave a magic wand. So it was fabulous. 10 people stayed. I explained to them what I'd done. I took minutes for this meeting. I'm going to go home tonight or in the morning. I'm going to type this stuff up. You're going to give me all of your emails right now. We passed the thing around even earlier, and sure enough, that in that last half hour is the most productive. We went over what was discussed, what the action items were, what were the priorities of this larger area. I typed the notes up within a couple days. We had 10 people on the initial listserv. I think that email distribution list is probably about 25 members now. They've done a cleanup, a hot dog roast. They're looking at how to utilize the park in terms of fun things. There's guys that are riding the park at 11 o'clock at night together with their lights, kind of like a little night patrol a couple times a month. And they've really brainstormed, and they're owning it in terms of what they're doing. Some guy's got some paint that we gave him. He's taking care of graffiti if the city doesn't do it. So you got this little area that is bigger than a block. It's smaller than what a CDC covers, and they're taking ownership of their community. That's what's got to happen, and that's what we'll be doing in the new Ward 14.
In your time on council, what have you done that you're most proud of?
In council, well, I think what I just explained, I think I'm most proud of, because this is an extension of when I was even at the Development Corporation. I was organizing and providing technical assistance and facilitating people's involvement in the community for 4 years before I was in council. So now I'm continuing it in a bigger way because I am the council representative. I have more authority, I have more funding availabilities, and I have a bigger bully pulpit now that I'm in council. That's a nice segue, as you've been saying, into things that I've done on council itself. I think I'm very proud at standing up, digging in deep, and being a strong voice on some pretty big issues that are even bigger than the city. I was against the Medical Mart project in terms of it being, the tax being funded without a vote of the people. I was against that. I was always for, when the project was to occur, that it go at the current convention facility. If you Google my name and Medical Mart, I think you'll find on one of the sites, maybe Brutefresh Daily or Real Neil, my posting from a year before, I think before the thing was even approved, the tax was approved, or Medical Mart decided to actually do it. And I talked about that, first of all, you need a vote. You need to figure out how to do funding a little differently, as opposed to just putting it on the backs of the taxpayers. I know the hotel folks don't want to hear it, but half or 1/4% increase on the bed tax, going to the governor in the House of the state of Ohio and finding if there's a little bit of state money to throw our way, I think we could have found a little bit more diverse pot of money. And then where it went was really important. Ultimately, I'm in support of it now because it is going in the convention facility area. The fact that the mayor and the county commissioners did not really articulate and push the idea that if you didn't put it on the mall site, what were we going to do with the mall site? I mean, it's a huge government liability, but yet politicians weren't willing to speak out on that. I also worked very hard and diligently on the Amp Ohio coal power plant. It's, I think I was quoted at the time as saying, we go from potholes and streetlights to global energy policy. We're dealing with a multi-million-dollar coal facility. This is older technology that they are trying to promise some clean coal technology, but it's really not that well tested. I was pushing to potentially, well, I voted against it, and I respect the commissioner and Clean Public Power, but there was a big deal, and it was a big deal for people even to understand what the larger issues are in terms of energy, etc. Apart from that, I think though is being an independent voice. So I'm pretty proud of that in terms of trying to provide the kind of oversight that I think is needed from the legislative branch to the executive branch.
Great.
So.
We have a minute left, it looks like. 2 minutes. So I got 2 quick questions.
Sure.
First, tell me one of your favorite Cleveland memories of of your time living in Cleveland.
I'll give you 2, I guess. One would be, of course, going to see Mr. Jingling. As a little boy, it was pretty cool. You remember the old elevators and ride up the elevator with the man or the lady who's running the elevator, and you went up to see Mr. Jingling. And years later, when you're in that department store, and it looks completely different, but it was a pretty cool memory, real part of Cleveland's history past. I think probably more recent cool memory was a meeting we had in Mount Pleasant for the redistricting. We've had about 10 white folk from South Hills attend this meeting, and people got really riled up about how government needs to be accountable. You can't just cut these communities up, and we have to organize, and we have got to trash the racial divisions, and that's a pretty powerful moment. So I think that was a pretty cool time as well.
Awesome. And finally, what does Black Heart Cleveland mean to you?
Right. Well, I cheated. I looked over your site, and I think I told you. I saw this question, when you first posted 6 months ago. I think you actually, I'll take your take on it and definition. I think your visual of the river, and kind of, I love the environmental issues and watersheds and how we integrate with our lake and our river in our community. And I look at it, I think, as many people I think have said on your website, that Cleveland has such a tremendous industrial heritage in past, and even a consistency through history of going through difficult times. So I think there is a dark side and a real negativity that comes through. I was overseas for 9 years. I came back, had a completely different positive look at the city. So I think it's that darker side, but really having a strong heart. So.
Thank you, Councilman.
Sure.